Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about both the Arsenal men and women winning 3-2 last night. I was actually at the women's match, the Champions League game against Bayern Munich, so I probably will have more to say about that one. But I'm going to start with my thoughts on the men's game. This one I didn't actually get to watch the full game of, but I did see the highlights. I remember seeing the lineups for that game. I kind of thought like, oh, it looks like Arsenal's not actually taking this game too seriously because there was a lot of rotation and like Saliba and Magalhaes weren't starting in defense. No Odegaard. I don't even think Saka was starting in the first half. And QER made the mistake early on that led to a Palace goal, or at least failed to clear a ball that led to a Palace goal. And I don't really know what to make of QER because he has done well in the absence of Magalhaes the past few weeks, but it's still very clear that he is not Saliba or Magalhaes. And I think whilst a solid enough backup, he still had a few goals. I think the one against Fulham he also could have done a bit better on. Um, where he just could have done better with the balls coming in, and it's led to goals because he didn't do a good enough job with it. But then at the same time, he's also done fairly well in other games. So I think QER is a solid backup, but not as good as other defenders we have. A Jesus hat trick I did not see coming at all. That was really exciting to see. Um, I mean, I don't know if he scored a hat trick since like the preseason game against Sevilla 2 years ago. Um, he had a great start to life at Arsenal, then dropped off a cliff after December of the 2022-23 season, and hasn't really gotten back to form ever. So hopefully this is a sign of great things to come. I hope. I hear Odegaard did really well, which doesn't surprise me at all. He is an incredible player, and he's received a bit of criticism recently, which I say is insane, because again, he is without a doubt our best player, at the very least our most important player. He is my favorite player at Arsenal just because of the way he passes. I think it's beautiful to witness. And that pass on the third goal to Jesus was uh, amazing. Again, I just can't see how one could criticize Odegaard because he is like just an amazing player all around. The last thing I have to say about the Crystal Palace game is that header from Eddie Nketiah was really nice. Like I'd have liked to see that a bit more when he was at Arsenal, because that was one of the better headers I've seen. And really not much the defense could do about that, or Raya. Like that was just a really nice goal. But Arsenal ended up winning. They made a lot of substitutions at halftime when they were losing 1-0, and I think that worked to their benefit. I think they had tried to kind of get by with, uh, a largely second squad um, for this game, and then they were losing at halftime, so Arteta was forced to take it a bit more seriously, and then he subbed on Saka and Odegaard and Saliba, and then we looked a lot better. As for the women's game, which is the game I was at, it was a really fun time. I did not think we were going to beat Bayern, especially after the 5-2 result. But, I mean, wow. I think it's nice for Slagers because one of the things that I could say for Slagers is she hasn't really been tested against like great opposition yet, although we did play well against Man United as well. Um, but with every result that comes, the more and more I like Renee Slagers. I might make a video talking about her specifically. Um, but the more we get results like this, the more I think that we ought to give her a contract permanently, rather than just as interim. Russo again, good positioning on the second goal. It was an interesting game where there were 5 goals and none of them scored from open play. Both Arsenal and Bayern are good at set pieces. Um, I guess there's just a thing about Arsenal and corner kicks because both their men's and women's teams are really good at them. Uh, I think Bayern looked the better team for most of the first half, but I could take encouragement from the fact that for the most part, they didn't actually look like they were going to score even when they had more of the ball. Van Damselaar did make a few pretty good saves, and the only goals came on set pieces. So, again, I can take some encouragement from the fact that even with 2 goals, they didn't score from open play at all. and that Van Domselaar looked really good again. It was really nice to see Caldente get some redemption after she missed the penalty over the weekend. I was glad that she got a second chance, and as soon as I saw it was Caldente taking it, I had a feeling she was going to score because she had missed over the weekend, and she did it easily enough. Like, no struggle. Nice to see that happen. I'm happy for her. I said Bayern dominated the first half, or at least looked the better side in the first half. That changed in the second half. I thought when Bayern scored early on in the second half to make it 2-1, I thought they were going to control the match from there and ease out a victory. But instead, Arsenal responded really well. And I'd say it was Arsenal who were the better team in the second half. And there was a large portion of the second half where Bayern looked vulnerable, and Arsenal were able to capitalize on that, even if not from open play. The penalty, it's hard to really say. Like, without VAR, it's hard to really know for sure. Because watching the replay, I couldn't see it from the stand where I was watching. But watching the replay of it later, I can't tell if it hit her hand or not. Her arms were definitely out in an unnatural position, the Bayern player who the ball hit her arms. But I don't know if it actually did hit her arms or not. Um, but I'm glad we got the penalty, and I'm glad we showed a lot of resilience to go down 2-1 and still go up and win the game. And that means that, that means that Arsenal now have won the group. So that's going to help out with seeding for the draw, which we have to wait a while for. The quarterfinal draw will be in February. But I've been really encouraged by Arsenal under Slagers, and this was a really good result against a really good team. Hopefully, we draw Real Madrid in the next round. They're probably the weakest team in the quarterfinals. But again, two pretty nice games, and I'm very happy with it. Thanks for watching.